So it really just becomes a matter of taking things when they're offered to us and not questioning the significance of them, but trusting in the significance of them. The conscious psyche can only take in so much at a time, but that doesn't mean that your brain isn't available or ready to make or take on other impressions. Hey guys, what's up? It's Paige. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. Woo! So today's video, we are diving into a super fun topic, something I have been just literally obsessed with lately, which is dreams. Specifically today, we're going to be talking about the importance and significance of your dreams. What do your dreams even mean? That sort of thing. Like I said, this is something I've been super passionate about lately and have been actually doing a lot of what I would call dream work for a few years now. Which dream work to me is intentionally doing the work to understand your dreams better, therefore taking into account the experiences that I have in my dreams and then further working to develop the kind of experiences that I can have in my dreams. Because to be completely honest here, it seems rather silly that we live in a society that kind of discredits the importance of dreams and the significance of them when it's something that every single human experiences in their life and truly is a gateway for all of us to experience different levels of spiritual and emotional experiences to the point where they will impact us and change our psyche forever. You actually find there's a lot of people that don't even want to talk about dreams because they're not real experience. But I have to ask, what's not real about an experience just because you didn't experience it on a physical level? Your emotional, mental, and spiritual experience counts just as much as anything else in this world, and I think it's about time we woke up to that and thus start playing into the magic of that fact. For example, I have so many people come up to me lately because they know that I am very passionate about dreams, where they tell me just a silly little dream that they had, only for them to realize that they actually came to a dream oracle who is very much ready to enlighten them about the deeper meaning of their dreams. So that being said, if this is a topic of interest for you, I definitely recommend subscribing to this channel and of course giving this video a thumbs up. Not only will that remind the algorithm that you like this kind of content, but it also helps me being able to get this content out to more people, because I truly believe that dreams are such a significant and important part of our life, yet we've been taught so much in society to just kind of put that energy on the back burner, even though it can be such a catalyst for you to be able to move forward into new kind of phases of your life. So that being said, don't be afraid to send this to someone you know who has crazy vivid dreams, because I can tell you now, someone who experiences damn near HD dreams, it can be really soothing to know that there's a reason for that. So first, let's get into the whole idea of what is the point? Why are we having dreams that are so striking and so memorable at times? Well, like I've already said, dreams provide you with new experiences, whether that is a spiritual, mental, or emotional experience. The dream world is an optimal time for specifically your emotional and spiritual energy to develop and begin to understand itself better. And if you think about the prevalence of dreams, a lot of the times you might notice that dreams show up at either very stressful points of your life or rather stagnant points in your life, which astrologically you can see this playing out a lot with the whole 12th house and 6th house dynamic. The 12th house ruling the unconscious or your dreams, that sort of thing, whereas the 6th house rules your day-to-day life, your health, your stress, that sort of thing. In fact, I would say most of the time when dream work becomes super relevant, or perhaps when it becomes more of a drive for you to want to understand and develop what's going on in your dream world, it always seems to start with either two of those emotions, either feeling stagnant or feeling stressed. Now, what's interesting about both of those emotions that seem to catalyze this dream world energy within us all is the fact that they both show patterns. Meaning, if your energy is showing up stagnant, there is probably a certain way that you've learned how to compartmentalize certain types of your energy into fine little boxes to the point where they can't fully express themselves or get out the clear message that they want to convey. And I find that that happens more often when you've been doing a lot of active work in your life to refine your energy and take control of things. At a certain point, you might clear your vessel or your energy to a space where now things might start to feel redundant. You know, the energy that was once good or sought after becomes more of a blockage or an obstacle or something that keeps you kind of plateaued. Which, let's say in contrast, we're looking at more of a stress-induced approach to dream work and whatnot. In that case, it's more of an overflow of emotions where it's trying to get you to see how much emotional energy you're working in and not sorting through. And all that being said, dream work has actually proven to be a very helpful tool when it comes to any kind of psychotherapy or healing work or just trying to tap into yourself on a more personal level. Because your dream world acts as another way for you to have experiences that may not be as traumatic as real life experiences, but offer that introduction or gateway into an energy that you might have previously closed off before, or just avoided and evaded because of other circumstances going on in your life. I find that dreams have normally way more of a holistic view than if we were trying to approach it from a more mental or rational type viewpoint. So in a way, dreams act as a reminder that your energy is always supposed to be working together. And when we do as humans naturally do and start to categorize things and discern them away from ourselves, we can eventually then lose track of energy that we really need to embody and use more of in our lives. And I find that the universe is always trying to get us to learn to trust ourselves. So using our dreams, which are something that are so subjective and so personal, as a means for you to realize that you can trust all of your energy, not just the ones that you have accounted for at certain points, that is very telling of the whole process that they're trying to put you through, which then will hopefully lead you to the whole act of dream interpretation. Not only writing down your dreams, but actually looking into the symbols and trying to understand all of the randomness that seems to be occurring in front of you. On a very superficial level, I would say it's really easy for us to see things going on in our lives and then seeing how that energy can somewhat be echoed within a dream. However, dreams are so much slicker than what we give them credit for. For example, think about a dream that you had where everything seemed to be super random, but it was also very specifically random. Like, let's say you were in a department store and there was only coats hanging up and it was all like the same coat, or it was all the same price or something like that. The randomness is actually super, super important here because, for one, if it wasn't super random, you probably wouldn't be paying attention. In your emotional energy or spiritual energy, it would just resonate as every other experience in your life, which is something that, like I said, you've learned how to categorize and put away and discern into its own box. But your dreams are there to remind you that things are not as simple as they seem, and they don't always come together in the clearest way that you want them to be put together. I mean, truly, our brain is way more okay with trying to convince itself that it understands things rather than being okay with the flusteredness of not understanding. So that being said, when you initially try to start interpreting dreams, it's going to be this process of understanding that your ego is trying to downplay these events because they don't understand them. Hence why people have these silly dreams that actually have a huge, deep message within them. I mean, truly, just within the past week, I've had like 3 people be like,
oh my god, I had this crazy, silly dream happen.
Only for me to read what their dream was about and within a few minutes be able to decipher the deeper spiritual message within that, which I have found seems to always be about inviting your power into a more holistic and personally empowered level, which is very interesting if you consider nightmares, which we'll get into in a little bit. Now, here's the big question.
What do my dreams mean? How do I even figure that out? How do I begin interpreting them?
Well, like I said, the randomness is kind of the point. The things that stand out as kind of weird to you mean something. And also the way that you interpret that randomness says a lot as well. For example, if you are in a dream and there is an overtone or undertone of a certain emotional energy, that is worth being noted. A lot of the time I notice that dream symbols tend to have a lot of overlap of a theme or a general gist of energy that they're trying to provide, so it's normally not that hard to try to put them together because, like I said, at a certain point it will just resonate and you'll kind of feel what the message is in a very intuitive way. Because if you try to take these messages from a more rational point of view, it's going to be easy to just continue your storyline that you already have on the topic and thus continue that stagnant or stressful cycle rather than getting a new perspective which the dream is offering you. Now, like I said, the way you interpret a dream is going to say a lot about the dream itself. So even if you feel like you forgot a lot of the dream or you're not explaining it the most accurate way, just know the way that you did retain that information is enough. Over the many years that I've been working on my dream work process, I've had a lot of times where I've had to force myself to write down a dream because I'm too tired to want to write it down or something like that. And I find that I just kind of force myself to summarize things even though in my head it's kind of a vague or elusive energy. Because of my realization that, like I said, the way you remember it is going to be enough. It's going to count and it will get you where you need to be. For example, there's been plenty of times in my dreams where I visit a place that kind of resonates, it kind of seems familiar. However, when I go to describe what that place looks like, I can only remember places that kind of look like that and have to explain it that way. I mean, truly, I just gotta say, when it comes to energy work, the way that you're interpreting the energy is going to be enough. Because while in your head you might know that it's not 100% that energy, it still embodies the energy enough for you to identify it with that energy. For example, the other day I was at a place that kind of looked like this bar that I like to go to. However, it wasn't 100% that atmosphere. Like in many dream atmospheres, you can be in not only one place, but kind of multiple places at once, you know, just by kind of shifting your attention in different places. So that being said, when it came to me having to remember it, I would just say, you know, it was a restaurant like this place, because at the very least, you know, I'm being honest with myself that it wasn't 100% this place, but it did give the same energy, which again is enough for you to be like, this is where it's categorized under. And even if it feels like you're forgetting something, I mean, quite literally, sometimes I'll just etch out the first half of the dream because I can only remember the last part of it, even though I knew there was more to it. Again, there is just kind of a certain faith or trust that you just have to have in your own memory and in the way that you perceive things, because that in itself is prophetic. Not only when it comes to dreams, but energy work in general. The ways that you receive or convey a message says so much more about the energy than what actually is being said. Actually, that was a huge thing I learned when I was looking into NLP, and that's like 70% of how they're actually interpreting a message is through body language or tone or things like that. See, that's something that really needs to be factored in when it comes to learning to trust yourself. The conscious psyche can only take in so much at a time, but that doesn't mean that your brain isn't available or ready to make or take on other impressions. I mean, if we think about it, before there was ever any kind of conscious language, you know, rationally speaking words to another person, there was always symbols. If you look into the collective unconscious or the collective consciousness in general, you will learn that there are just things that resonate with each person on a very universal level, but the real trouble comes in when you try to explain and convey those in a very conscious way. Hence why dreams act as kind of a loophole, because you don't necessarily have to fully explain and understand the energy in order for it to be received and worked through. So basically, when it comes to dream work, it's a lot like learning a language. You know, you got to take in bite-sized pieces of information so that you can eventually read the whole novel. The importance and significance of dreams is quite literally that dreams are inviting you to learn a deeper language of the world that's more emotional, more spiritual, and more in tune with the universal truth of what it is to be a human than really any other thing that we experience on Earth. There's a deeply spiritual component about having dreams that we can easily write off if we want to. You know, there seems like there's other more important things to worry about, but truly, what will ever be more important to you than your energy, and learning not only how to utilize it, but vitalize it into something that brings more and more happiness and power and consciousness into this world. I mean, we all want to experience a better life, and I think truly dream work can help us experience that in a way that will be a lot more true to our soul than perhaps the ways that we've convinced ourselves are our route to success or glory. Now let's talk about the significance and importance, what your nightmares mean, because I know a lot of people can be very turned off from doing dream work because of that kind of energy. But my personal 2 cents, nightmares are bringing to your awareness the emotional energy that you're already struggling with. In a way, it's kind of a psychic attack on your own energy. And perhaps nightmares are inviting you to wake up to the danger of the energy that you are working in. For example, if you were to experience a nightmare and then wake up and you have like scratches or bruises that are completely unexplainable from like your day-to-day life or anything like that, quite literally a lot of the time I see this as someone who is like boundlessly messing with energy that is not good for them. And the dream itself might not necessarily tie itself to a specific person or like an external energy to blame, but they are meant to give you an awareness that you are personally inviting this kind of energy into your psyche. I personally grew up having very, very, very vivid and terrifying nightmares for a lot of my life, only for me to eventually realize that every single one of those dreams were symbols and messages reminding me that I was giving my power away to other people and just kind of letting people terrorize my spirit and my emotional energy in ways that showed that I wasn't taking responsibility for my own power in situations. Psychic energy and dream world energy are extremely porous, meaning that that energy within you is always acting like some kind of invitation for something else to come through and penetrate it and let some kind of truth be known. So that being said, the significance of a nightmare is showing you where your energy is being too porous. You're being too open to these psychic attacks from other people, meaning you're not taking accountability for your personal power and you're allowing people to freely take their emotional and spiritual jabs at you. Now, dreams involving other people have multiple facets to them. On one level, other people will always represent a part of your psychic energy, aka a spiritual or emotional need within you that's trying to make itself known. But on the flip side, it can also show a person that shares that kind of energy with you, or someone that acts as an invitation to a specific kind of energy. You can definitely receive psychic messages from other people in a dream. However, like I said, the way that those show up is going to be on a lot more of a spiritual or emotional level rather than something they might physically feel the need to do or say in this world. Like I said, the dream world heavily relates to the collective collective unconscious. So if there is an emotional or spiritual lesson that needs to unfold between you and another person or on that kind of energy wavelength, 9 times out of 10, I feel like the dream world will use that gateway or bridge of consciousness or realization between two energies to help learn that kind of lesson. Mainly about accepting that other facet, need, or desire that you are seeing within another person. But that's not to say that the energy you're seeing from another person doesn't also belong to them too. Like I said, there is this dual side to dreams where what you experience in yours can be very similar to the energy of another person. It truly does just depend on your own awareness and skill level with that. So I do advise you to make those conclusions with caution. You know, never just assume someone's giving you some kind of information in your dream, especially if you haven't really gotten clear on what your dream world is on its own. But I digress. Another frequent dream symbol that you see people deal with is dreaming of some kind of transportation and how that can actually show up as an awareness of a certain journey that you're on and perhaps give you a better idea of the certain people that are on that journey with you or why they're on that journey with you. Transportation in dreams often show a kind of like attitude that you might have towards taking a certain journey as well. So looking at it like that and understanding that everything in your dreams is not only a piece of you, but it has a symbol for different things in your life at large to consider. You know, there is a lot to gain from diving into these symbols and understanding the significance of the messages that are provided within them. Dream work really is an outlet for you to uncover not only what your personal energy wants from you better on an emotional and spiritual level, but also, I mean, this transpires quite physically most of the time. Like I said, these are spiritual and emotional experiences first and foremost, and regardless of what level you experience your experiences on, it would be really hard for those experiences to not change who you are in a complete holistic way. For example, if you were to get physically ill, that is going to change your mindset. It's going to change your emotional energy and spiritual energy because of the ways that our energy has learned how to compensate. And on a very energetic level, you know, we are only able to see a certain level of our bodies trying to make things work out, but truly it extends way past what we can see or even feel at times. So it really just becomes a matter of taking things when they're offered to us and not questioning the significance of them, but trusting in the significance of them. Because truly everything that's being offered to you in this world, whether it's completely physical and tangible or it's completely spiritual and up in your brain, it doesn't matter. It's something that the universe is giving to you, and if you learn how to integrate it and work with it, there will be benefits to come with that. But yeah, I think that covers everything I wanted to say in this video about the significance, importance of dreams. So if you have any further questions or want me to dive into anything specific anymore, just let me know. Of course, leave your comments down below. As always, make sure you check out my other social medias, linked down below as always. But I'm gonna skedaddle and I look forward to seeing you guys in a later video. Peace.